Alright, so this is going to be the third video in the sleeping systems, and we're going to talk about accessories for sleeping systems. Basically, pillows, storage solutions, both, when you're at home, when you are out on the trail, and that's pretty much it. As most people know, you don't want to keep your sleeping bag stored up in its compression sack. So I have a couple of these things. This is actually an old Navy laundry bag that I had lying around, and what I did was I made it drawstring with a piece of 440 cord, and this works pretty good if you're in a pinch and you don't really have a whole huge budget. These things are maybe a couple dollars. And usually they come with this giant, comically huge safety pin, so you could just safety pin the whole thing together if you wanted. Or you could opt for a nicer, this is like a laundry bag, I think I got at Walmart, again for probably a couple dollars, and this is what I use for storing my sleeping bag. So, just basically anything will work. The best solution, though, is to have it hanging, and you can go to any website that sells sleeping bags and find a sleeping bag hanger and just hang it up in your closet. And that's really the best way because it keeps it lofted and not compressed at all. I don't have one, but it doesn't really hurt you too bad if you keep it nice and loose and kind of fluffed. And the only reason that you're doing that is so that the down or the synthetic fill, whatever's in your sleeping bag, doesn't get all bunched up and doesn't start to lose the insulating properties that your sleeping bag may have. So, that said, on the trail or when you're hiking or even if you're just going for a kayak, I already talked about these in my bags. I talked about these in the dry bags, but I'll talk about them again. These are Event Sea to Summit dry bags. They're probably the best. Backpacker, I think last year, gave these a really good review and some kind of award. But they're kind of expensive. You could opt to go to Walmart and get some of the cheap dry bags and just put it in one if you really, really wanted to. It's not going to be as nice as this, but it'll still work. Or, a lot of sleeping bags actually come with a compression sack, and you can just keep them in that. But I wouldn't store them in that at all. This one's really great though because it's waterproof and it functions like a compression bag. If I can get it on the triangle. Straps. And there's nothing in here but air, but just to kind of show you. These all compress down and make it a nice tight bundle. The really nice thing about this Event fabric is it's a one-way permeable membrane, so you can squeeze it and air will actually come out. I've done this in the pool where I take it and I dump it in the pool, squeeze some of the air out, bubbles go everywhere, and then I open it up and look inside and everything's still dry. So this is a really good bag. I think I paid $35 for it at a local store, and it's worth it. I don't just store my sleeping bag in here. I'll store my sleeping bag liner, my pillow, some clothes, and a towel usually, and it packs down to slightly bigger than it is right now, maybe about that big, but that's still perfect size to go into the bottom of my pack or down by the feet in my kayak, somewhere out of the way, and it keeps it dry, which is perfect because none of those things that I just listed you won't really want wet. Alright, so talking about sleeping bag liners, this is a Coolmax adapter from Sea to Summit, which is what I use in my sleeping bag. And the idea behind these is it gives you kind of another layer between you and your sleeping bag. So if you're not going to take a shower for a couple days, you might not want to get all funky and transfer that funk into your sleeping bag, so when you come home you have to wash it. These are nice because you can just take these and throw them in the wash, and there aren't a whole lot of requirements like there are for sleeping bags. I mean, you have to have a front load washer and a whole bunch of other stuff to wash them. So you can just take this, throw it in any old washing machine and get it clean. But also, depending on the type that you get, some of them will lower the rating on your sleeping bag. So I have a 20. This, I think, is good for 20 degrees itself. So you could actually go, into the 0 temperature range with certain sleeping bags, and not pay a whole heck of a lot more, and still use a synthetic fill if you like that, instead of having to go to a down. The other thing that you can do with these is you can just have this. If it's hot, I live in Florida, and it gets hot here, but I still like to go camping, so I can just have my sleeping bag down and have a nice big area for me to sleep, and then just get in this thing and be really, really comfy, so I'm not sweating all over everything. Coolmax adapter. I'm not sure how much I paid for this thing. You can look online, probably get a better deal than I got. You can visit your local retailer and ask for sleeping bag liners, and they'll show you all the ones that they have. They make them out of different material. This is made out of this Coolmax by DuPont, which actually is really kind of neat because you get in it and it's actually kind of cool. It's like having cotton sheets in your sleeping bag, so pretty cool. And then, last but not least, and these are not really necessary, I didn't really show that, but with the sleeping pad that I have, this nice guy, you can take dirty or clean preferably, clothes and put them under here, and this thing turns into a little pillow, so you don't really need a pillow if you don't want to carry one. You can just use your old clothes or, some socks or a towel if you want, and all that can go up in there. And it's got this nice soft velour, kind of nice and soft. But if comfort's your thing, camp pillows. Now these are really cool because they puff up to about, I don't know, that's not the size of a pillow I sleep on regularly, but it's about the same thickness of a pillow that I would sleep on regularly. And that's nice because you can just kind of chillax and relax on this pillow and be super comfy. And they don't take up that much space. In fact, in my little bag that I was just showing you, I can pack all of this stuff in it and it be still small enough to shove into the bottom of my pack. So, I mean, they pack up, and they can pack up smaller than this, so it didn't do a very good job of packing it in here. But, I mean, they can pack up to be this big, so you can compress them way down. Now, obviously, again, with storage, you don't want to store them that way, because then you can see this is an older pillow. This is my pillow. And this is my wife's pillow. And we've been storing hers properly, and look at how big and fluffy it is. And then you look at mine, and it's like, eh. But you can also just throw this in the dryer, and it puffs right back up. This one was sitting in a bag, compressed for about a week. So, when you are out hiking or camping, and you just store it during the day and then you bring it out at night and fluff it back up, it fluffs up really, really quickly. If you keep it packed away for about a week, this is what you'll end up with. So get it out when you get your tent set up, and it'll look like this, and not like this. So that's pretty much it for sleeping systems. I don't know. I feel like I left something out. I'm pretty light on sleeping systems. There are a lot of other things that you could cover in a review, but I'm just doing what I have, so that's it.